Okay, so I'm Claudia. I come from northern Italy, precisely from Milan. And I'll be here for the next 2 years with you all. And I'm sure I'll have a great time. I will work on squirrels. And something about me. I got my master's degree quite a long time ago. I'm older than I look. And my degree was in natural sciences, which is, you can say, a very interdisciplinary master course because I studied geology as well. And this was my first close meeting with squirrels because for my thesis, I studied space use of red squirrels in the highest altitudinal range margin of the species on the Alps at 2,000 meters high. So I got to follow squirrels uphill in this nice forest. And then before I get to my PhD, in case, I guess it's not working no, okay, just a little bit slow. Just in case some of you don't know about the red and gray squirrel case. Gray squirrels are not native to Europe. They are native to North America. And they've been introduced both to the UK and Ireland and to Italy. We have in Italy currently two main populations in the northwestern part of the country. Then we had another one in central Italy here, but it was the latest introduction, but they did a very timely intervention. So it's almost eradicated, thanks also to a LIFE project. This was quite, threatening because especially here we have an endemic subspecies of the red squirrel on the Apennines and an endemic species of squirrel here. So having them in the center and central part of the country, having gray squirrels was quite threatening. So the main issue with the gray squirrel is that it brings red squirrels to local extinction, mainly, but not only, through exploitation competition for food. And this is why the gray squirrel is included in the list of invasive species of European concern. So control and possibly eradication by member states is mandatory. Okay, so during my PhD, what I studied was whether parasites played a role in mediating the competition between these two species. So during this period is where I gathered a lot of skills and knowledge in disease ecology, and especially on parasites. And what I was able to see is that gray squirrels introduced to Italy an alien nematode, and this nematode spills over to red squirrels. But my final aim would have been to test whether the spillover of this nematode had an impact on red squirrels, but I had, you can say, a reality check, and it actually took me other 7 years. So we published this just a couple of years ago because we needed a lot of data to be able to highlight the subtle effect of this nematode on red squirrel fitness. So basically, it adds to the exploitation competition and reduces survival when red squirrels get this parasite. Okay. No, maybe not. Okay. So then I spent 6 years, yes, about 6 years as a postdoc at the university in Milan at the veterinary medicine department. So there I studied several host-related and environmental factors affecting mainly helminths, nematodes, circulation in natural populations. So, for instance, habitat quality or physiological stress or individual personality. Okay, that's fine. Then, recently, 2 years ago, I left academia for a while, and I got a position as a researcher at ISLER. This acronym stands for this mouthful of a name, but basically is the National Animal Disease Agency in Italy, where I work mainly as a data analyst, trying to coordinate the research activity of my group, because let's say that research is not their main mission, so they needed help on that, because they gather actually a lot of data with disease surveillance. So I got to play with a lot of a very long data series. And I work mainly on the epidemiology of several swine diseases and on antimicrobial resistance and stewardship. But, okay, yes, when it wants. But I didn't leave my squirrels. So this is a recent work that I'm quite proud of, because it was very long in the making, and immunology is tough. Tough topic. So here we wanted to see why, I mean, it's not really known why some species become invasive. So once they are introduced in a new environment, so how they can adapt so quickly and spread so quickly and perform even better sometimes than in their native range. So one of the most well-known hypotheses is that they lose a lot of natural enemies, so parasites, pathogens, or predators, or grazers, and these may give them an advantage. So here we wanted to see whether a release from parasite pressure determined a change, a modulation of the immune response in gray squirrels. And we actually saw that where parasite pressure is lower, they tend to shift from to less costly types of immune responses. So we gave some support, because there's a lot of evidence about these hypotheses in plants, plenty of it, but much more less in vertebrates. And I think it's just because the immune system is so complicated to study. And finally, we come to the project I will be carrying out here. And it's the same topic. So why some species are so good at invading. And here, so my aim is to investigate the role of the microbiome in the invasion process. So whether a higher metagenomic plasticity can confer this species an advantage, and link their microbiome diversity to some key traits like the diet, behavior, and resistance to infection. Okay. I will employ an observational approach. So I will be using our two species, the red and the gray squirrels, and explore their gut microbial dynamics, both across space, so at population level, and across time. Okay, it's random. So basically, we will sample in 3 different types of sites along a natural urban gradient, with 2 populations, so 2 independent replicates per site. And in each site, there will be 3 sampling events per year, so in spring, autumn, and winter, not in summer, because in summer squirrels are hard to catch because there's a lot of food available on tree canopies, so they do not enter traps. And so we will work through capture mark recapture, fecal sampling, and arena tests for behavior. And gray squirrels will be culled at the end of the year. So basically, most of this work has already been done because I actually applied for my Marie Curie in 2021. And while I was deciding what to do with my life, in collaboration with Insubria University, we already did all that. So the sampling, most of these has already been done. So the specific questions I would like to answer are, first of all, if my hypothesis is that gray squirrel will show a greater, larger metagenomic plasticity than native squirrels. Red squirrels are basically losers. They are the cutest, but they don't adapt that well to change. Okay. So the other question, the second question, is whether their variation in the microbiota is associated with dietary flexibility. And both of these will be done, of course, through metagenomics. Then whether variation in the microbiota is associated with individual personality. We use portable arenas that you can see on the left. You can see a squirrel being released. And basically 4 minutes of an open field test and then 3 minutes of mirror image stimulation. You can see there the squirrel watching himself. I mean, watching what he perceives as a conspecific in the mirror. And yes, this was just cute, posing for the camera. And from these, of course, we extract etograms and then indexes of the main personality traits like activity, exploration, and sociability. And the last question is whether microbiota heterogeneity is associated with the host ability to cope, to deal with parasitic infection. For this, we actually collected some data from fecal samples. These are all parasites eggs. Because of course, on red squirrels, we only had feces. But actually, I don't know if I will be able to use them because they are a little bit tricky to manage. The best thing is to have adult L-means counts, and this will be available only for gray squirrels, of course. So these are the two. This is the alien nematode that I mentioned earlier, and this is very small. The typical parasite of red squirrels. I didn't mention it, but in all the sites are either red only or gray only sites. We are not working on sites where the two species are together. That was it. Something about me, not work related, just a little something to know me better. My main hobbies are hiking. I hope I will get to do some even here next spring, probably. And reading. I read anything, but mostly fantasy and science fiction. And I guess I will get to do this a lot during winter. I have the cutest cats. You can see here Pablo and his brother Ziggy. And they are currently, unfortunately, home in Italy with my partner. And I miss them already. I've been here like 10 days, but I miss them. And more the cats. Because I can talk to them. My partner, we can talk. I mean, we can video call. But the cats, they don't listen to me when I speak to them through the phone. So, and so last thing is a warning to you all. I tend sometimes to talk really a lot, but you are all allowed. I won't get offended. You are all allowed to stop me when I'm getting too much. And that's it, I guess. Yes.